And welcome to the episode 43 of the j2cast, j2cast. We're still tossing that around.
Yeah,
it's been a year.
Yeah.
Jesse, how are you doing today?
As rough as I look.
We'll just let that slide. We are doing the first video of the actual podcast. Now, there's some other videos we've done. We just released one from Razor's Edge and had a great time there with Amanda and Joshua talking about prepping for your AR-15, spare parts, things you want to do, things you don't want to do. If you haven't checked that out yet, be sure to do that. We had a lot of fun doing it, and it was definitely a way that we're wanting to go.
Yeah.
It's what led us here today to this. As you can see, we're in the back of our studios. We were going to use the rest of it, but we were afraid you would, you'd claim that we stole the set from Sanford & Son. So we didn't do that. And this is what we look like. He does look like this. This is not a joke. I am not a combination of Kevin James and the guy from InfoWars. I am. It's not that funny, but.
No, it really is.
So I just wanted to make sure. I saw This Week Tonight on HBO. They made fun of Alex Jones. That's his name. They made fun of him, so I'm trying to make sure.
Okay. Well, and I'm not the illegitimate son of George Spray from the Slingshot channel.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you should watch George Spray if he is.
What is the Slingshot channel?
He makes slingshots.
Oh, on YouTube?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I was thinking...
Yes.
Television.
No.
I was trying to imagine an entire...
He makes all sorts of great stuff. He's funny. He's easy to watch, and he's just built German guy. That's,
okay. All right. See, I'm thinking
he looks a lot like this.
The Speed Channel. There's Speed Channel, Outdoor Channel. The Hunt. All these channels.
Yeah, but on YouTube there's the Hydraulic Press channel, and
okay.
Which
I was thinking of TV. I was wondering, that must be like channel 1489 or something like that.
No, I think that's Cartoon Network. But but no, George Spray, he just let me show you its features. He is awesome.
And it's all about slingshots.
Some crazy slingshots and some stuff that he has been able to skirt around the laws of in Germany about firearms, and he has made some really deadly weapons.
So what, Germany may have some strict laws?
Not on immigration, just on weapons.
I was like, that's so un-German.
Yeah.
Germans I know are usually freewheeling, devil-may-care people.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah. Especially since 1942.
Yeah. And I am German Scottish, so it's okay for me to say that.
I'm other side of the mountain, Dutch Austrian.
Yeah. It's not racist if you say it about your own people. Isn't that the rule?
What's our subject today, Jeff?
Well, we're going to start off, since we've got this new stuff, we got all these big lights set up here.
You're welcome.
Repurposed lights. I still haven't gotten that one camera repurposed yet because I lost the part. I have an older camera that I'm trying to upgrade to, not upgrade, but sample up to HD.
Yeah.
And the part disappeared this morning. So we're on our...
The gremlins took it.
I guess. I really thought I knew exactly where it was. But anyhow.
That'll teach you to think.
Yeah, well... don't forget... we're going to go right into the first story here.
Boy, you just cut me right off, didn't you? Thanks, Carter.
That's what happens when my son runs the switcher. He just edits Jesse right out. So that's all right. We're going to get into the first story. I heard this, and I had to make a comment about it. This is not about prepping. Maybe I guess it is about prepping, because I guess if you're a smoker and a prepper, you probably want to prep for this in case it happens. The FDA is wanting to lower the amount of cigarettes, nicotine in cigarettes. Now, let me be fully blunt here. I think smoking is one of the stupidest things you can do next to jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. That's. I think it's dirty, it's nasty, it's disgusting, and it spreads its smell wherever it goes, and I don't like it. So
I'm currently a smoker, and I don't disagree with you.
So I'm just going to say that. But
that's why we always keep a gap in between us.
But I do believe in freedom to do what you choose to do to yourself. I mean, basically, my philosophy is, as long as your body is not blocking my driveway in the morning, I really don't care what you do. So on to that. I read this and I thought, this is...
You should get that on a T-shirt.
I stole that from Scott Adams of Dilbert,
Okay.
actually. On that, I just wanted to point out that this is insanity at the government level. Nobody is going to smoke less because there's less nicotine. They're going to smoke more because there's less nicotine. You give a wino vodka with half the alcohol, he's going to drink more vodka.
Yeah. You still have to be able to get your fix.
Your part of your thing's moving back there.
Don't look directly at it.
So I heard this and I thought, this cannot be for anybody's good except possibly the government and or tobacco companies.
Which have a tendency to work hand in hand as lobbyists.
Because what are the chances, let's go back out to camera one there, Carter. What are the chances that the government is going to enact this and jeopardize their tax revenue?
I've never...
From cigarettes. Because the government loves tax revenue from cigarettes about the same way they love tax revenue from fuel.
Yes.
What are the chances on top of that the cigarette companies, being the altruistic, wonderful people that they are going to lower the prices of a pack of cigarettes because there's less nicotine in them?
Absolutely zero. I mean, Pepsi didn't lower the price when they stopped putting caramel color in their soda.
Yeah, so it's the thing that all it's going to do is cause people to smoke more packs to get the same amount of nicotine. Or
and on the other side, for new smokers, since they're always targeting new smokers, it would give the impression that it's a bit of a mental leap, but it gives the impression that they're less harmful because they have less nicotine in them. So you're still generating new customers.
Well, and I was reading about this, and I thought, this has got to be the thing. They're wanting more revenue. They're wanting more everything else because it's asinine. Then I got to reading further down. The picture-in-picture Carter used earlier was from the Washington Post. And down at the bottom, they say that the goal of all this is to get people to vape more, to use items like vaporizers and things like this that, besides making you look like a monumental douche when you use it.
My wife has a coworker that his mod, as they're called, has such a length and girth. Please excuse me for length and girth, but it looks like he's trying to eat a lightsaber every time he uses that thing.
Well, it's the type of thing that I think, once again, it's the government coming in because it's going to allow them to oversee every bit of production. It's not going to be at least with tobacco, at one point it was a plant that came out of the ground. Mm-hmm. Now it was added to and processed and things like this. But by turning people to vaping, it's going to allow them to complete the manufacturing process till what you get is the least natural thing possible. Mm-hmm. And then at a time when we keep telling people, go more natural, go eat more kale, which I think I've had kale twice. It tastes like dirt to me. But, do this type of thing. We're actually at the same time saying we want smokers to get more dependent on production, more dependent on processing, more dependent on companies to the end to get their fix. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's something I wanted to comment about because I think, the last comment is also, by and large, most of the smokers I know are not fiscally flush, let's say.
Yeah.
Some are. Most aren't. I used to book, bands for concerts. They'd ask for they would ask for cigarettes in their concert rider just to avoid paying for them themselves. Oh. So it's, some are. But you get somebody who's already financially strapped and you make it so they're buying twice as much as something they're addicted to. Do you really think, there's people out there that already cigarettes will overrule milk and eggs.
Right.
You're just going to make that problem worse.
Yep.
So while I say I think it's a horrible, disgusting, nasty habit that I don't want any part of, I also at the same point think that trying to tell somebody you're helping them while at the same time stabbing in the back's a little underhanded. But then again, maybe someday we're going to have smoker-owned casinos to make up for it. I don't know. It's possible. Make sure my phone's turned off here.
Philip Morris Casino or something?
Yeah. Philip Morris, they'll be destitute, hard to get by, smoking to be mandatory instead of allowed.
I think I saw movies about this in the 80s. It was time traveling. There was some blonde gal that went back in time, and she had to keep smoking because the air was too clean in the past and stuff. I'm not saying that it was a major blockbuster. I'm just saying it was something I saw in the 80s. We're prone to some really interesting B-grade stuff, like Nukem High. That was
There's
one.
Lots of it. Well, the whole without the '80s B-grade stuff, we would not have. We may not have Guardians of the Galaxy, because the director of Guardians of the Galaxy got his start with Troma Films.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know who the Toxic Avenger is, you need to go check that out. If you enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, that's the kind of stuff that got us here. So that's my little.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Yeah. So what do you have for us in the intro and news today? Are you?
Well, I was trying to work the transition in by mentioning Nukem High.
Well, and that's going to be our next segment. We're going to talk about North Korea.
Yes. Major
threat or college guys launching rockets into oceans?
That's a good question. It's just still hard to take that little Teletubby seriously, and
I've said it on the show before. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need to take him seriously. I think we need to take the people under him seriously.
Yes, he has some very capable people in it that are fanatic followers of his.
Yeah. And there's also people I don't believe that are fanatic followers. I believe that they are keeping him there because there's many, many years of established propaganda, established programming of the North Korean people that allowing them to focus on him while they get their accomplishments done and I really believe they're steering him.
Yeah.
I mean, they imagine him in a shopping cart and they're pushing him where they want to, because it's funny. It's just
I mean, his grandfather was a true threat, and then his father was a great impetus for the Team America movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe he's a true threat. I think that he has the following to. And like I said, he has years of a propaganda machine under him that even if let's say he is as crazy as people claim he is, that's dangerous because he has people under him that are willing to make that happen. I mean, I've compared him before to Justin Bieber. If he was on his own, he couldn't find his way out of a room.
Right.
But when there's people benefiting from him in his location and in his power, him being in power, I think they're going to utilize that. I think there's a lot of people who have a lot bigger rice bowls over there than others because of their ability to manipulate him and focus him and push him in certain directions.
And considering his mental instability, as long as they keep propping him up, he's pretty easy to steer because then they just have to appeal to his vanity.
Sorry, I just thought I could take that entire thing you just said and replace Trump, and there's a whole lot of people that would totally agree with it.
Oh, we're talking about someone who actually has. Well, I'm not going to bring it to Moab right now.
Well, but that's what I say is, but it's a lot of people claim the same thing about Trump. And I'd say with the current failure in the ability to repeal health care and the and his little revolving door at the White House, I kind of.
Each of those need to be taken on a case by case basis and reviewed for what they were.
Yeah. But why did he put some of them in? I mean, the mooch. That guy should have never been put in his place in the first place. That was.
Nope. No. From what I understand, there was one purpose that he was there for. He wasn't meant to be there. He wasn't they didn't intend on him actually being there for very long. But that dude, I think that dude lied on his resume.
You know,
that.
See, I don't know, because I think from what I heard, I will bet you the conversation that the Mooch had, was it CBS this morning or whatever, where he said he wasn't Steve Bannon and that he wasn't trying to do the things to himself that he claimed Steve tried to do to himself. I think that's how.
I was always told that'd make you go blind.
I was told. I believe that is how he speaks 99% of the time.
See.
And we saw the true guy. The one refreshing part about it is we actually saw a Washington person saying what he actually thought.
Well, and not that it's a rule you want to be measured by, but look at it by comparison. People say no, Trump is the absolute worst considering verbal diarrhea. But then you bring out the Mooch, and they're like, nope, this guy.
Oh, yeah.
This guy.
I just look at it and think, what a mess. I sure wish my guy would have won.
Anyway, we're talking about bowl cut.
Well, we're going to come back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back, and we're going to discuss the North Korea situation and how it could or could not affect your preps. Stand by.
Like what you see, like our Facebook page. It's j2cast prepping. You're more than welcome to email us at jeff@j2cast.com or jesse@j2cast.com. Go ahead and leave a voicemail if you'd like at 417-533-3716.
Once again, thanks a lot, Amanda, for helping us out at the Razor's Edge the other day. As you just saw, we had a chance to do a few extra things with her, and we're hoping to use her more in the future, hoping to expand out in other ways in the future. Yep. So if anything you'd got ideas about, please follow her example, or her instructions.
Her instructions, yes.
And give us an email or phone call, and we will definitely take a listen to those and go on to that.
From the feedback we've been getting, I've had a lot of requests of people wishing to see more of her in our videos.
Well, we'll have to try to. Well, give us ideas. As you can see, we're open, kind of like this area behind us here. Not like the rest of the area though. It's full. Believe me, it's a lot of stuff there. Yeah. We ought to do an overhead camera, shooting across the place, just to let people see the whole thing. No, all right. All I'm going to say is, imagine if you could take the last scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they're trotting the Ark of the Covenant down. Imagine that, and then have it, instead of boxes, have it decorated by the TV show Hoarders. Is that descriptive enough?
I was just wondering, in post editing, can you blur out my finger for a second?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Do not have that power available to me.
All right. Let me know when you do.
If I had that, I'd give you a shave.
I like the.
Are you going for the beard? Or are you going tactical on us?
I like the ruggedly handsome look. Yeah, I was thinking about just keep this shaved and trim this up and everything, and I'm kind of thinking about it.
If you haven't, flaunt it, man.
Yeah. I got to do something to cover up as much of this mug as I can.
Have you seen the new video? And I don't want to get off topic very much, but have you seen the new video of the blackhead remover for men that's going over Facebook? It looks like tar, and they're putting on.
The charcoal mask.
Yeah. Did you see the one where this guy? He's up there and he's got that beard, and then halfway through the video, his beard becomes the blackest solid thing. Like they painted it on. Like all of a sudden they went, you know what? Let's just slather paint all over his beard. Have you seen that? Okay.
Sounds terrifying.
I was looking at it. I couldn't even keep track of the product because I kept going, what happened to his beard? It looked like a rodeo clown when they paint the beard on. Yeah. So anyways.
Wow. No. Wow. That sounds scarier than Alicia Silverstone in The Crush.
Well, it took my mind off the images of blackheads. too. So maybe it worked. Maybe it was a good thing.
Nuclear war.
Well, come on over, Carter. Let's go to camera 2 there. Let's bring up the picture-in-picture. New York Times says the success of the North Korean missile test was thrown into question, as you can read on the screen there. Basically, on re-entry, nose cone came apart. So they can make it go really high, and they can make it come back down.
Well, gravity helps with the second part.
But they, well, actually, it exceeded the height of the International Space Station last time. Oh. The distance. So going back to camera 1 there, Carter. So this shows that they can get it up and come down, but it's not surviving the re-entry.
Okay. So the nose cone comes off like a model rocket?
It disintegrates.
Oh.
It disintegrates. And now, those of you out there who are smarter than I am, I want to know, because it's very vague on this about this, but what happens, I want to know what happens to the nuclear warhead, because there's still fissionable material in this. What happens to it on re-entry if the nose cone goes away?
Well, if you're not creating the ideal environment for are they fission or fusion?
I thought they were, well, maybe he's up to fusion. I thought they were fission. I thought he was still in the fission, because the fusion, you have to go to H-bomb, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Now, of course, that's part of the problem, is we don't know what really the guy's capable of.
But it's still either way, it still requires an ideal environment for them to be able to activate. So, I mean, if it compromises the integrity of it, then yeah, the material will probably burn up too.
But does it turn up into if it gets so low, does it turn into a dirty bomb and just spread radioactive material around?
I think it depends on what kind of concentration it's in by the time it hits.
So that's not good. So that's not if that's it. And also,
it's littering from high altitude.
Yeah, it is. It makes you wonder. Should we be that scared of this?
Well, I think anytime anybody's pointing a weapon at you, you should,
I think we should be concerned.
You should give it, at least a fair shake.
Oh, I think we should be concerned. I'm actually wondering if the concern shouldn't be with his ballistic, as much with the ballistic, and more with he's got the material, he knows how to blow it up. Mm-hmm. Are we keeping it from entering the country? In a suitcase bomb, in a truck, in a shipping container.
Over the last decade, we've done a really lousy job of keeping destructive elements out of our country. So, the delivery method could be, he may just pick a different delivery method for it.
Now, I don't want to sound like a broken record to those who hear our show a lot, but you don't have to come all the way back down to the ground for an EMP device to work. I was reading here a while back that
you actually get a more effective EMP
about 72 miles.
Right.
So, which 72 miles, you wouldn't want to walk it, you wouldn't want to run it, but really isn't that high in atmospheric measurements.
No.
When you consider those of you who have Dish TV, Direct TV, etc., for your signal to hit you from there, it has traveled 22,000 miles from the satellite to your TV. So, in atmospheric and orbital standards, 72 miles, small. That's nothing. So the question is, did it disintegrate before it got to the point that an EMP could be delivered?
That's very good information to try to get a hold of specifically at exactly what altitude did it be? Was its structural integrity compromised?
Right. So the other thing I got to noticing is, and Carter, let's go to a 2-shot, and I'll bring it up here. And I went to the wrong one. Here we go. Sorry. The Newsweek one is that North Korea may have tried to attack Japan, but missed in the last missile, because they did report that the missile landed in the economic area, what Japan considers the economic trade area of Japan, and
but it's still in the water. You were talking about trade waters,
right? Trade waters. But now they're saying that they think that from the trajectory, they were actually trying to get closer to Japan.
Oh,
and this is Newsweek, so take that for what it's worth. And here we got well, I'm just going to, because it's cute, do a little picture of him looking through his spy glasses there. I like to think that he's trying to find Japan.
Isn't he adorable?
And you know what's scary though is I've seen a lot of people lately with that haircut here.
That is kind of scary.
I've seen a lot of guys with it high on the, especially at rock concerts, with it high on the side, real loose on top.
Do they have that double chin and that mouth on the back of their head like he does?
I don't know about that. Hey, yikes. Anyways, if he wasn't trying to kill us, he'd be cute. Let's go back to camera 2 or camera 1. But they're saying, well, I little stray here real quick. I guess I should say this. I've been watching on the Discovery Channel their Unabomber movie. And that got me, this is almost part of my topic today, got me to reading the Unabomber's manifesto. Have you read the Unabomber manifesto?
No.
You should. If the guy wasn't blowing people up, he'd be a genius. More than he already is. He already got a 168 IQ.
Right.
But he sets out, and he's writing this not today, but he started his thing in 78 and was caught in 95. And just reading about him talking about our dependence upon entertainment and our inability to sit still without having something stimulating our eyes and ears, and our ability to be led because of our use of technology is so prescient that if the guy wasn't blowing people up, I mean, he makes so much sense if he wasn't blowing people up.
He could have just found a more constructive direction to go.
And I mean, the guy, he, and not only that, but he didn't do like a lot of people and go to YouTube and go, we got to leave technology alone. I'm going to use technology to tell you how technology is bad. He did manual typewriters. He lived in a cabin, subsisting off of foraging and rabbits. I mean, he walked the walk. He was just having to be back crap crazy at the same time.
Right. It's kind of hard to get. It's kind of hard to get. Once you get to a certain level of brilliance, then back crap crazy kind of.
Right. He's
steps
just.
in.
But watch it. So, anyways, I'm not saying the same thing about Kim Jong Il. I think he's a different kind of crazy, and I don't think he has a 168 IQ from what I've read.
His father was ill.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Well, he was ill up until the point that he passed, and.
But I'll bet you now, since he's head of his own country, he can get a license to ill. So.
Insert rim shot for post-production.
Little Beastie Boys humor.
I'm so hungry.
So anyhow, they say he missed, but that got me thinking. It's, I think a nuclear weapon is one of those things, like a hand grenade or horseshoes, where a miss can still be a point.
Right.
He may aim for L.A., and he may hit somewhere else, but his point's still made.
Right.
I still killed people and I still made a mess of where I hit.
Right. I mean, trust me, I've been in situations where I've been shot at and missed, fortunately. And you still take that threat pretty seriously.
Well, let's just say, for example, he aims for Las Vegas and misses, but hits Lake Mead.
That's a large water supply.
It's
that's the entire water supply for that area.
Which I'm not even going to get into the fact I think Vegas shouldn't exist because it's in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, the aerial views are definitely something. It's all lights and glitz and shiny and everything, and then
my opinion on New Orleans is very similar though too. I think that once you have to look up to see the ships come by, it's time to move your town.
Man, that place is fun.
But you can move it, and it can be fun at sea level instead of below sea level. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not going to disagree with you there. I mean, but the undertaking of being able to move all that history from down there, which they never should have built below sea level in the first place, but all the history that's down there, and really narrow, windy streets, and
it can all be replicated. It costs money, but it can all be replicated.
Yeah. Well, but you need to take some of the old buildings and disassemble them and reassemble them to try to maintain.
Oh yeah, I mean, they
Maintain
moved
some
the
of that.
London Bridge. So it can be done. We have a restaurant here in town that was rebuilt brick by brick.
Would it?
Now used to be, it was a Chinese restaurant. Before that, it was a brewery, a small brewery, the one Pacific Rim.
Oh.
That was a train depot that they rebuilt. They individually took each brick apart, labeled it, and moved it.
Oh, wow.
So, and now it's a closed restaurant. So thank you, Joplin.
And now we know. And knowing is half the battle.
Yes, we can't keep anybody in that, but the city does give out free, loans to people that want to put in health food stores, which everyone knows in Joplin, a health food store won't work unless you've got kale and then meth supplies. You got to have those in the same place.
Yeah, that's about one of the only ways folks stay skinny around here.
So, it was just, but back to what we're saying here. So that got us thinking about how to treat yourself and I don't mean like treat yourself like get a manicure and a pedicure and things like that, but what do you need to have on hand if there is a nuclear accident, attack, oopsie, whatever you want to have.
Right.
And that's where you looked into it, because I mentioned to you that I'd heard about potassium iodide, but I had no idea actually what the dosages or anything else was. What were you able to find out about that?
To sum it all up, and I'll be more than happy to go through some of the details on this, but to sum it all up, the potassium iodide is a peace of mind. It's the concept that you can be prepared, unfortunately. Not even the CDC was able to list anything regarding what a proper dosage should be. I did find on the Health and Physics Society, the hps.org, that they recommend 130 milligrams for an adult as a recommended daily dosage. Now here's the thing about potassium iodide. Potassium iodide plus sodium chloride is table salt. Morton table salt, when it rains it pours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the only thing that the potassium iodide protects is the thyroid gland.
Right.
And if you can saturate the thyroid gland with non-radio iodide, the radio iodide, because the thyroid gland does not differentiate between radio iodide and potassium iodide, then the rest of it starts moving through your body. But the problem is, it keeps you from getting, it helps prevent against like thyroid cancer, but it does not treat internal exposure to radiation to any of the other organs.
It's not a magic bullet against radiation. It's specifically against thyroid cancer, which does, if I understand right, the chances go off the charts with once there's exposure.
Yes.
But radiation burns, things like that.
Clean water and keep them comfortable.
Right.
The most radiation exposure that you're more likely to encounter, hopefully, would be a surface exposure, where the best thing you can do is strip everything off of you, seal it up in a plastic bag, and then scrub yourself from head to toe like you're trying to strip paint off.
Well, awful movie, but like they do to Indiana Jones in the newest Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
And you gotta scrub everywhere. You can't do like him and let him skip spots.
No,
If
you have
seen
to.
the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, or Ace Ventura.
Carter says, "Don't look for a fridge."
Don't look for the fridge. MythBusters already disproved that one, but no, you gotta scrub yourself down like Jim Carrey in Ace Ventura. When Einhorn is Finkel. Yeah.
I don't remember that. I try to erase anything with Jim Carrey out of my mind.
Yeah, as long as he's not left to his own devices, he can. If he's properly directed, he can be entertaining.
So not a magic bullet. Basically, for iodine protection for your thyroid.
Right, potassium iodide.
And that's actually why we have iodine in our salt now, if I understand right, because there used to be a lot more problems with thyroids.
Right.
And they started putting in the salt, and we've alleviated a lot of that.
Well, and that's one of the statements used to be about that was you needed the iodine for your body to be able to process the potassium chloride, or the sodium chloride, excuse me. But that's not necessarily the case. But since, like you said, that had been sort of alleviated of late, hence the popularization of using the Himalayan pink salt and more sea salts and things like that, you're able to get your salts from other sources without having to rely on iodized salt. And one thing that got me was that I had never really considered, from a prepping standpoint, something to take into consideration is surface exposure just on someone's clothes, even if it hasn't made it to the skin yet, is easily transferred. I mean, if I had it on my skin and I just walked by and did that, I could be exposing you to certain levels of contamination. But once your body's absorbed 10 gray units or more, and a gray unit's classified as 1 joule of radiation energy per kilogram of matter, which is really not a whole lot, if you consider, a nuclear disaster. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nothing compared to, having medical procedures done and x-rays and things like that. I mean, it's not, but once you receive 10 gray units or more, even the CDC says you've got 2 days to 2 weeks. So keep them comfortable, reduce the pain, give them something for nausea.
You say about that. I got on one of my insomnia binges the other night, in which I sit and read.
Yeah.
And I was reading that on the Concorde, which doesn't fly anymore,
right,
it flew at 60,000 feet, and so they could be above the traffic and no problem. But they actually had radiation detectors on each Concorde because of the higher altitude. There was more cosmic radiation exposure.
Yeah, because we had less filtration.
And they would actually have detectors on board the Concorde, just so they could descend if they started getting it due to solar flares and things like that. I never read about that before. I was fascinated.
That. I mean, I'd always read the story about 4 or 5 times about the guy that got his hat crushed on there.
Oh yeah,
through the expansion joints.
Because they would let him expand. He stuck his hat in there or on it, and came back and crushed his hat.
I had to wait till they landed to be able to get what was left of his hat back out.
So I'm mentioning that brought that to mind. I just thought that was really a interesting aspect that I had never.
It wasn't something that I had necessarily considered, but definitely a worthwhile thing to have on there.
Now, for prepping, there are such things. Carter, if you want to go back to a camera 2 here and put the picture up, there are these things, personal radiation detectors. They're cards that if there's a incident nearby, you can break these out, and it'll actually tell you what your exposure has been.
That's pretty awesome.
And all that. And you can wear them. I've seen these in hospitals and things like that. These things will stay in a freezer for up to 10 years, fits in a wallet or badge holder, will instantly detect radiation. Looks like $20 a piece. So, not cheap, but there's got to be some technology that goes into these things. These are something that you could get if you found a deal on them, or if you bulk purchased them, and a bunch of you could put this up in there. If there's a local incident, break these out. You could.
I know that there are certain types of miners that use those cards for any potential of coming in contact with radioactive material underground.
Well, that would definitely make sense. That's you're mining, you're going to come up with about anything, including uranium and plutonium. I don't know. Can you come up with plutonium naturally, or is that only?
I think plutonium's a derivative of refining uranium.
Yeah. Unless aliens hit it for later use.
There's potential of that. I mean, the pyramids came from somewhere, man.
I always say it. I just noticed that my daughter sent me a link to a video on why the moon landing never happened. So that's it got me. I'm.
That was a conspiracy theorist.
It was Amber. Yeah, it was Amber, not Elle. Yeah, so I'll have to kick my tinfoil hat up underneath the table here. But I'll watch that later and see what she has to say. But definitely, if this is something that you believe is a viable concern, there are ways to detect it. Unfortunately, not a lot of ways to shield from it. I mean, it's going to be something you have to deal with instead of just erecting a wall, unless you've got a lot of lead laying around.
Yeah, unless you can put a 1/4 inch of lead around your entire. Boy, not just around your house. You just have to just completely wrap yourself in lead. Good luck walking then.
Well, it's one of those things that I really wasn't too concerned about until the more I read, the more concerned I got. Is like radon gas. Mm-hmm. This could be killing you. You can't see it, you can't smell it, but it could be killing you right now. It's like the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yeah? Yeah, you can be slowly dying because of it. Well, at least my cigarettes, they put it right on the side of the pack.
Yeah, so I was like, but I mean, you don't hear much about that anymore. Every once in a while, they'll run an ad for that.
Well, it depends on what they're trying to scare you with now, whether or not you're going to get the Ebola or the radon gas, or if the Zika is going to shrink your baby's head, or.
Oh, that's
the damn Zika.
Yeah, I know. It's weird stuff, weird times. Used to be that sort of stuff just happened and you blamed it on the devil.
Yeah, microcephaly. Yeah, it was just easier. You just had one go-to.
Right.
There you go. Just Elle did it. There you go.
That's I'm all for going back there. Of course, I find myself more and more wishing it was the '80s again, and
Back when nobody cared what color you were.
No, I think, but I like the music better, and if you did do something that was different, you did it. You just kept your mouth shut about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to, because you got to just kind of be yourself, and people celebrated it. You didn't have people going to government agencies saying that you had to force feed everyone to accept this particular difference. I mean, we made David Hasselhoff popular, and I mean he was as likable as a persona as he can have. Boy, he is self-destructive and really just an awful actor. But whatever he's in, you just gotta at least sample it. Just a little bit.
I've never seen Baywatch, so
I've never watched a single episode of Baywatch.
I've never sampled Baywatch.
I never did watch a single episode of that, but I was a diehard Knight Rider fan.
But he's huge in Germany.
Yeah, he's huge in Germany.
Which I'm not sure what that says about Germany.
But his Nick Cage movie was not the. Well, thank God for Samuel L. Jackson on that one.
As a matter of
his only appearances that I know were 2 guest star appearances. One was in a SpongeBob.
He was in the SpongeBob movie.
Yeah.
The SpongeBob movie. He surfed the Hoff.
Carter's Hasselhoff experiences are SpongeBob.
That one was still epic. I mean, he didn't really contribute much to the movie other than
Carter and I
the Hoff.
We went and saw Atomic Blonde, and I don't know if he got the reference. They're in a restaurant/nightclub kind of thing, and there's a lot of people in there. One of them makes the comment that Hoff's in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And this is like 1989, so they're
okay.
They're like the Hoff's in the restaurant, so they're milling about and all this.
Back when he was relevant and didn't have to do the whole William Shatner thing, and just understand that he's a bit of a joke and just learn to laugh at himself, and he can still make money off of that.
Oh. Well, at least they can make money.
Oh,
that's
that they can. They can make money for being awkward on camera. I'm awkward on camera.
They make money for showing up places. I mean, it's just I was reading about the income potential that OJ has now for his autographs on the underground market, because anything he makes above board has to go to the Goldman family.
Right.
And it's just, I mean, there's just guys just show up and go, $100. People, hey, here, and they scribble on a piece of paper.
Speaking of the Hoff and O.J. Simpson, the owner, who goes by Hoff, of the Moonlight Bunny Ranch in Nevada, has offered O.J. a job as a door greeter to his establishment.
Nothing in the kitchen, though.
Oh, I don't think that they're going to let him around knives. No, no, nothing involves knives or gloves.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, as you can see, we've come to the end of the show here. If you've got any ideas, get a hold of us at the Jeff at j2cast and Jesse at j2cast.com, of course. And I've got right here on my phone the phone number, and I'm not going to edit this out because I really can't remember it. 417-553-3716. That's the phone number to us here at the J2Cast, and we want to hear from you. Once again, check out the Razor's Edge video with ourselves and Josh and Amanda. We're looking at possibly doing more with Razor's Edge. We're hoping they like what they see. We're hoping you like what you see, and we're going to be able to bring you some new ideas, some specials, some just fun stuff. If nothing else, we're hoping just to maybe blow some stuff up. Yeah. And for your education.
Yeah, get some range time, blow some things up. Maybe get some good video of me using some tools and stuff. My wife likes to watch me work.
All right.
I mean, I'm sure everyone's going to get a different take off of it than she does.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm anxious to do more videos. So let's get it done. But submit your ideas, submit your concepts, submit your critiques, and we'll take what we can and use what we can, and definitely try to do this more. And one of these days, it'll quit being a hobby and actually maybe do something that we devote real time and effort and decorating.
Yeah. That way, Bill and Hoff, we can get paid for being awkward on camera.
We spent about 7 minutes setting this up today. So
I was drinking coffee and taking care of things and writing notes. Jeff said
So I had about 7 minutes. I didn't break any records. As you can see, this right here is, instead of restacking them, I just laid one.
Hey, that. It's a little Art Deco sort of thing. This ain't, you're.
So definitely let us know what you think. We will be making an audio copy of this for the podcast, and thought I saw the screen flash.
It did kind of flicker there for a second, but
that's okay. We'll figure it out, and we'll be doing more of this, hopefully, unless you guys call us and say it's awful, you have a face for radio, and don't do that again.
If they take the same take towards us that the rest of the world did to Miley Cyrus, just stop.
If we do this right and we set this up, and you let the beard grow, we can do a time lapse. We can put a time lapse together of beard progression.
I might just do that.
And we can have you and Weatherman get together for a beard off or something.
Oh, he's got a head start.
Oh, he got a head start. Yeah, he definitely does that. But he also smokes cigars. One accident, and you guys are even. So
that is true. I wish I don't wish that on him. Well, I don't know if you do, but
no, I don't wish anything bad on him either. I'm just saying, flame. That's all I'm saying.
There's a lot of products and stuff out there. I mean, Josh had a pretty significant beard in the Razor's Edge video, and he had that down pretty good. I think, got enough gray going on here. We'll see how this looks. See how it turns out. See how long my wife lets me keep it.
Oh, that is the ultimate authority in these things. So once again, Jeff at j2cast.com, Jesse at j2cast.com, J2Cast Prepping on Facebook. Get a hold of us there. We will answer any and all emails and comments.
Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and Google Play.
Yep, and of course this and the other ones will be on YouTube, so subscribe there as well. In the meantime, take care of yourselves.
Be safe. God bless.